Hello everybody, it's Wolf for another episode of Final Fantasy X HD. In the last episode, we obtained and unlocked Kimahri's celestial weapon, the Spirit Lance. Today, we are going to be going for Auron's legendary weapon. Now, in order to get this started, the first thing you need is an item called the Rusty Sword, which we have. This can be obtained on the area outside of the Cavern of the Stolen Faith. If you're like right outside the cavern, you make a left, you go into the cavern, you make a right, you kind of go on this winding path, and at the very end there's a thing you can check that we did at that time, and you find the Rusty Sword. So once you have that,
you're counting on me.
Once you have that, we are going to go to Mushroom Rock Road, which I believe we can get to from Jose.
Yeehaw! Here we go!
Do not go from the Mihen High Road or you'll be sorry. But we discovered that one already. Actually, no, you didn't discover it, I discovered it. I don't know if I'm going to keep it in the footage for my monster catching, but one of the Dark Aeons waylays you at the other end of this road. So if you're trying to get to like the Operation Mihen area, you have to come from this direction, otherwise you're going to run right into them and you're going to fight the Dark Magus Sisters and you're going to die, like I did. But anyway, coming from the Jose High Road, you go into this first area. We did check this out once before, but there was nothing really for us to find here. But once you have the Rusty Sword, you can come back to this statue of Mihen and use it. How you're supposed to know any of these? Heck if I know. You're just supposed to remember it. Use the Celestial Mirror! And we get the Masamune. Riku, why are you here? Anyway, that's really cool, and I love it, and it's kind of nice that you have to actually remember this. But anyway, the Masamune requires two things, just as every other celestial weapon, requires two things to unlock it. Number one is the Mars crest. Yeah, it's the Mars items this time. Again, I have Lulu has the no encounters, which is why I'm having no encounters here. But the Mars crest can be found on the old road. If you recall the what's it called? On the where we fought the Chocobo Eater, you have to well, if you get pushed off or if you just go all the way around. I don't want to save. If you get pushed off or you go all the way around, at the very, 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 very end of the old road is a chest with the Mars crest in it. You can easily get there if you take the Mihen High Road. Yeah, the Mihen High Road stop over here, because that takes you to the Rin Travel Agency. But we got that already. So we are going to be heading to the Calm Lands.
Here we go!
Now, in order to get the Mars Sigil, you need to complete at least 10 area conquest and or species conquest missions for the Monster Arena. Meaning, you're going to have to go to 10 different areas and get all of the monsters there. Or species like, 4 of each dragons, or 4 of each, puppy enemies, or whatever. So I find it easier just to do the whole area things. I'll have a, after we get the Mars crest, I think, and before we actually unlock the weapon, I'm going to, the Mars Sigil I mean, and before we unlock the weapon, I'm just going to show you all of the areas I did. This is going to be a longer video, surprise. I mean, you probably know that already, but I already got the one from Besaid, the reward from Besaid, which was like 99 stamina tonics or something. But anyway, wowzers, you completed a total of 10 races and areas. You seem to be worthy of this prize. I gather it's a priceless item, but I have no use for it. We got the Mars Sigil. We've been researching specimens you brought from Jose Road and created one nasty beast. And we get 99 petrify grenades. Want to take a swing at it? No, we're not going to fight any of these right now. We're still way too underleveled. Sure, always ready. Not for free. Yeah, you have to pay to fight any of these boss enemies, but we are going to have to fight every single one of those boss enemies. But anyway, I've been researching specimens from Kilika. We got 99 poison fangs. Can we just need more winged eyeballs? Okay, that's great. Been researching specimens from Mihen. 99 soul springs. These are all going to be great for like supercharging our armor and weapons. Well, not weapons, but because we're going to be using celestial weapons, but armor at least. So mana springs there. Excuse me. Alright, so I haven't done Beaconel Island yet. Makes all kinds of flan. Oh man, we got all the flans? Really? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Create a really nasty one. And 60 twin stars, which is fantastic. I'm going to be catching everything from Beaconel when we go get Riku's weapon. Incredible Insect, 60 mana tonics. Researching specimens from Mushroom Rock Road. 99 Candles of Life. Oh, buddy. One sec. Candles of Life, I think, cast Doom? I want to say? Let's see. The Poison Fangs are really nice. Candles of Life. Yeah, cast Doom on an enemy. Doom! Twin Stars reduces MP cost of one character to 0. It's really good. Doubles max MP of party. Yeah, those are all for fun times. I just want to see what if I can do anything with those. Let's see. Petrify grenades can become Stone Strike, which is cool. The Candle of Life is Zombie Strike. Magic, we could do magic plus 10%. Shining Gem is magic counter, which is nice. The Twin Stars is half MP cost, 3 stars is 1 MP cost. Still can't do double or triple AP, but we are going to be getting more wings to Discovery eventually. Actually, I want to see armor. Let's see. Poison Fangs, poison proof. Petrify grenades are stone proof. Candles of Life become zombie proof. I believe we can also get Zombie Strike for our Aeons from those, but we'll see another time. HP plus 10% for just 3 Soul Springs. That's actually really nice. Oh, one stamina tonic is HP plus 30%. Wow. I didn't realize it was just one. And 1 mana tonic is MP plus 30%. Auto Med, Auto Potion, Auto Phoenix are amazing. 30 Pendulums can be Master Thief. I might give that to Riku's item. Break HP and MP limit are 3 stars and wings to Discovery. Okay, we have to keep that in mind. Anyway, more Thunder Plains. You get 99 Chocobo wings. Nice. That's like auto haste and stuff like that, I think. 40 silver hourglasses. Ultimate Horned Beast. 99 light curtains. Bought from Macalania, 60 shining gems. I've created a monster! This is a fabulous day! Come on, kiddo, help me celebrate! 63 stars, gosh. Okay, I have to see what this one is, because he didn't even say what it was made out of, and I'm pretty sure it's like one of the super ones. Ah, this one. Yeah. You're gonna die immediately. Earth Eater. Earth Eater! Luckily it's not game over, you're just out. These enemies, again, they are going to be so ridiculously crazy. I created a monster. Okay, so these monsters, I think, are just, like, Supreme Gems, nice, are made out of, like, not just the area conquests, but they're, like, they're above the area and species conquests. I think I'm gonna stop there, because I don't want to, like, start getting duplicate items, just in case. But, anyway, those are all the rewards, or most of the rewards. We'll be getting the rest of the rewards later, but those are most of the rewards. But here's how I got them! Okay, so first off, we got Besaid Island over here, which has a grand total of 3 monsters to catch. Wow. They can all be found on this one path between the shore and the village, so it's pretty simple. You just gotta walk up and down this one. But the first monsters that you find, 2 out of the 3 are the dingo and the condor. And at this point, we're gonna be doing like all the enemies in order of like the areas that we visited in the game, just for simplicity's sake. But like 90% of the enemies that you need to catch for Auron's thing should be either like single shot, you know, kills, or like 1 or 2 hits until you get to like the Gagazet area. If not, you might be underleveled. Anyway, the last enemy for us to find is the water flan over here. So yeah, just keep walking up and down this area and you will easily get everybody. Next up is Kilika. We just have to, all the enemies are in the woods here. There are a grand total of 4 enemies in the woods. Lord Ochu does not count towards any of that. But the first 3 here is the Deinonyx, the Yellow Element, and the Killer Bee. So again, once again, these are all just really easy to kill. They all show up in fun groups. The last enemy to find is the car driving outside. The Regora, which can shoot you with seeds and is really annoying. But, yeah, so just keep walking around the same area and you'll find them. You don't need to venture out further. Next up, the Mihen area has 8 enemies in pretty much 2 different zones. The first zone is just the road over here, the Mihen High Road, which has enemies such as the White Element, the Mihen Fang, and the... what was the last thing called? Oh well, I guess we'll see it in a second. The Floating Eye, right. So these are all, if you go south of the travel agency, they're just right at the beginning of the road here. You could just go back and forth. Also over here are the, what are these guys, Raldos? I think they're the Raldos. I was gonna say Garn, but that's not correct. Yeah, so these guys show up a little more rarely, so you gotta kind of fight a lot of enemies. Flea is also your best friend here. Next up, we have the Dual Horn and the Bombs. Dual Horns are also a bit more rare, but sometimes they show up in groups of 2. The bombs are also like by the part of the old road north of the travel agency. The high road, I mean, north of the travel agency. You can find bombs in abundance there. What are you doing out here? I was walking and ended up here. Where am I? What place is this? feel so bad for that guy. Anyway, the last bunch of enemies are on the old road. They only show up, it seems, on the old road, at least from what I've found. So you just have to walk up and down over here. Into the walls, of course. And you can run into... Who's actually stunned here? The Weaver, whatever his name is. And a Thunderflan, which is not part of Mi'ihen. It is in fact part of Mushroom Rock Road biome, but he's here too. Also, what you can find on the old road are these enemies here, the Eperias, which I believe are the last ones for us to find. So yay. You can also, as you can see, run into the floating eyes and stuff like that, so... That's that. That, as they say, is that. Sorry if you hear the wind. I'm keeping my window open because it is actually nice outside. Anyway, next up is actually Mushroom Rock Road. You go from the Jose High Road area and just kind of walk around in the immediate outside, and you can find enemies like the Lamashtu and the Gandaro or whatever it is in the red element. Mushroom Rock Road has 7 enemies. Gandarua, whatever. It's got the Raptor here. The Thunderflan, again, is either in the old road area, or if you go from this back towards actual Mushroom Rock Road. Also, what you can find here are the Fungars, which, if you don't kill immediately, they'll use pollen and put you to sleep, because they're mean. The last enemy for us to find is all the way by Operation Mi'ihen. You will not find it unless you go all the way to the back part of the valley here. It just doesn't appear in the normal areas. That's kind of annoying. But all the other enemies kind of appear here too, so this is a good place to grind. But anyway, it's the Garuda. Yeah, he's all the way in the back there because there are 2 other enemies. But normally he looks bigger, I promise. But, yeah. You can find most of the enemies here, and there's a save point for you to easily escape, so you might just want to come here to do your enemy grinding. Next up is the Jose area, which has 7 monsters to find. If you go from that Jose High Road thing and go to the right, you'll run into these enemies. Eventually. It changes over after about halfway up the path, but here we have the Garm, and the Bunyip, and the Snowflan. And also on this road, you will run into the Simurgh and the Bite Bug. So that's already 5 of the 7. The last 2, one of them is on this part of the road. Excuse me. The Basilisk, which you can learn Stone Gaze from. Excuse me. These guys were scary, but not anymore. And finally, yeah, you can talk to all these people by the split between the Jose Temple and continuing of the Jose Road. But in this foresty area, you can run into Ochus, which again are really not a challenge anymore. It's kind of funny. These do take a couple of hits because they're meant to be tanky enemies, but I don't know, Auron can sometimes just one-shot them. They also usually come with either the bite bugs or whatever. As a side note, if you go to the Jose Temple, you have these people from Bevel. Traitors! Ha! Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, so everybody over here is kind of sorry. We just want to help you fight sin. Our bad. Next up, we got the Thunder Plains. The Thunder Plains have 8 enemies, including an ambush. Ow. Ow. Okay, including the Melusine. She is very different from the Kusakara and the Arrow. Yeah, Melusine, or whatever, the Kusariku. Melusine is very different looking from Final Fantasy V. She did not age well. And we also have the Iron Giants here, which are actually not as rare as I thought they would be, which is nice, I guess. Stupid eyeballs. Yeah, the Buer. 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 We also got the larvas, if you remember. And keep looking around. Got gold elements. Most of these enemies can be found in either location. I found the Iron Giants to be more populous in the northern part of the Thunder Plains. But it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But the last enemies here are the Cactars with a Q. They only start appearing after you start doing that game to get the Spirit Lance, but I found these guys in the northern area as well. They kind of appear closer to the Cactar Stones, but I don't know if that's just confirmation bias or not. Also, if you get struck by lightning enough, I think I mentioned this last time, you get a consolation prize. Even several bouts of electrocution won't keep you down. For your admirable display of courage, the Billion Memorial Travel Agency confirms upon you the Fighting Spirit Award. It's for getting hit like 100 or 200 or something times. You get an elixir. Wah, wah. Anyway, next up is the Makalania Woods area. This one has two separate zones as well, with two completely different types of enemies. For a total of 10, though. The first zone is by the warp over here. If you just walk around the snowy area, you'll find 4 or 5 different enemies. First we have the Snow Wolf. Great, just what I need. Snow Wolf. The Ice Flan. And the Maftet. Maftet actually is the hardest one to find. But also here, if you keep looking around, you will find the Evil Eye. And I think that's it for the... Yeah, so it's 4 enemies out here and 6 in the woods themselves. The ones in the woods themselves aren't really restricted to any specific areas, you just gotta run around. But we have wasps. And we have the Zephos. Yeah, so Auron should be able to take care of pretty easily. Also in the woods are the Chimeras, which, again, you should be able to 2-shot or 1-shot depending on which characters you use. Also, we have the blue elements, which have a bit more defense, but you should be able to destroy easily. As well, we have Iguions and the Murusu. It's kind of interesting that the Makalania Woods has 2 different of like those types of enemies, the little armor enemies, the Murusu and the Maftet. Yeah, but that's it for Makalania. Next up, we have the Cavern of the Stolen Faith. Now this one has 2 separate zones and is really weird. It depends on the color of the area that you are walking in. Yeah, it's weird. But first up, we have Thorns. I hate these enemies. I would suggest not attacking them with Tidus because they counter with Pollen, and they're jerks, and Tidus usually can't one-shot them. But yeah, the Cavern of the Stolen Faith has 9 enemies. So these guys I think appear in just about any area. If you can see in the battle background, it's kind of like a dark area, so these guys, the Ipaj and the Valaha, so they appear in the darker areas. Whereas there are like certain rooms that have like a greenish tint to them, and those are the other enemy zones, which is really annoying. Also appearing in the normal areas are the Yowies. Although, I don't know, the background is green, I don't know why. It's very clear when you see it on the, like, not overworld, but like in the game itself, how it looks. It's very clear that like that's the green area. Also in the regular areas are dark elements and Nidhogg's. You can also find the Nidhogg's elsewhere, I think. I think they're also on Gagazet, but I'm not sure. But the dark elements can be kind of annoying. They cast Reflect on themselves, and then they start being rude, and they have really high defense, so you just kind of have to bash away at them. You can also soften them up with Lulu and then catch them, but if they use Reflect, then you have to use Dispel, and it's a whole cycle, and eh. Anyway, another enemy you can find in the normal areas are the Imps. These guys can also be found up on Gagazet. It might be easier to try to find them there. So obviously the mech hunters don't count. Neither do the defender guys. But anyway, this is the green room. You can find ghosts here. Ghost. These guys kind of just soak up damage for a while and then cast Doom on you. They're really, really disgustingly easy. If you don't have... I think you can learn Doom with Kimari, if you don't have it yet. But, the area, if you want to, like, pause the video, the area on the map that I'm in there, if you, like, want to look right before the battle starts, not over here, but right before the battle starts before. Or over here. So, like, this little corridor here, this is like a green corner. And we run into the last enemy, the Tonberry, which only appears in the green. And my god, these guys took me like 2 out of the 8 hours or something it took. We're just hunting down the Tonberries because they can be so annoyingly rare. But they have a counter that's called Karma, that if you hit them, they pretty much kill you. It's Karma for however many enemies that character has killed. So you're usually going to sacrifice your first character, and then the second one will be able to catch it, or the third. But anyway, next up and finally, I believe, is Gagazet. Gagazet has 4 different zones, I would say. You generally separated by the screens that they're in. But I think we explored Gagazet for the Spirit Lands. We talked to people last time, so we don't need to do that again. But in the first screen over here, you can run into the imps from the Cavern of the Stolen Faith. There he is right there. You can also run into the grenades. I think I said it right. There are 12 enemies you can find him. So you run into grenades here, which we have already caught plenty of. Let's see, out here you can also run into... I don't know if I show them all because we've already caught a ton of them. But you got the Bandersnatches. I show the Bashurs a little later. You get the Grats out here. I think the Grendels also. Maybe the Mandragores too. Let's see. Yeah, so there's what's his face there, Bandersnatch, and Nidhogg from the Cavern of the Stolen Faith. So the next area you can go to is inside the cave area, where you can find enemies like the Mandragora, which is, just a giant Ochu that also just soaks up damage. He can usually get an attack off, and sometimes it's the Ochu dance, and then you regret all your life decisions. The annoying thing is that he does confuse you, which is annoying, but he also gives you darkness, which just makes it harder to catch him. Especially when you don't have good timing. This fight was very painful to watch. I just had to keep going until somebody ran out of darkness. Darkness is very effective in this game. I'm very impressed. There we go. So we got the Mandragora. Also, the next zone is the water inside the cave, which has 3 different enemies to find, which we ran into already. The Achilles, which are those weirdos, and the We'll find out in a second, I guess. The annoying thing with this is that you don't have Auron, so it's pretty much just Riku to either steal or soften them up, and then walk in Tidus to catch them, so it just slows things down a little bit. Yeah, I was trying to... and yeah, oh, right, the Splasher, that's the name of the other one. The battles in here kind of take a long time because the enemies also just have weird animations. Stupid charging thing. Oh. At least they're not like particularly strong. They do have 400 health. But we already had gotten all of the splashes we needed, so I don't really care. Next up, if you're just kind of walking around the cavern, you can run into the behemoth! The enemies in the cavern don't have like certain places they appear, they'll just appear anywhere in the cavern, so if you want to stay by a save point to keep healing and saving, that is 100% fine. But the behemoths can be really annoying if you don't just immediately destroy them. Because they have attacks like Heave, which can do a lot of damage. Also, don't fight them if you can't catch them, because they have their death attack with Meteor. But anyway, walking around up over here near the exit, we ran into a Dark Flan. Once again, the strategy here is to use Armor Break, so that you can actually deal damage to it. Luckily, I had actually taught Armor Break to our tedious little friend. So he gets the first strike in, and then everyone else just slashes it to pieces. Farewell. Bye-bye. They are very weak. At least now. Next up, if you keep running around, you can run into the Armons. Look at the little feather on his head. Sorry if they're like weird artifacts in the recording. I have to like... This is like from like a playback recording, so it's not live and my computer gets angry when I do it. But yeah, Armons and charging. Grendels, that's right, these are the Grendels. So these guys are really rare, or not like really rare, but like it took me the longest to find these guys out of the other monsters. Stupid survival, not survival. Never done. I'm trying to think of a completely different video game. Anyway, the final enemy for us to find is in the water area here, which the screen that I'm in, I don't think had enemy encounters. I don't know. It's kind of weird to try to figure out where the water actually has enemy encounters. It's actually kind of annoying. Especially since there's like such a small area. There's nothing over here, it's just the chests. This is me getting lost. But the final enemy for our catching adventure is the male spike, which I believe we already have a bunch of. So, yeah, that's all the monsters in the 10 areas that we have looked at. Hooray! There's still areas like the Omega Ruins, Beaconell, and Sin, but that's gonna be for another time. So all of that took the better part of 8 hours a couple days ago, which isn't too bad considering, but it's just a lot of grinding, and some of the enemies are really, really annoying to find. Let's do the Mars Crest. That's a cool sword, though. Weapons power has grown. So it's still no AP, but double overdrive or something. I think that's... I feel like I got it wrong with Kimari last time. I don't remember. What I used to do with these things is I used to get all the weapons and then just unlock them initially and then get all the sigils, but I feel like having an episode dedicated to each might be better. Maximum power! We'll also have an episode dedicated to the rest of the monster catching at some point. But for now, Auron has break damage limit, triple overdrive, first strike, and counterattack. So unlike the other weapons so far, he does not have double AP. But he has first strike, which is nice because he slows molasses and he counters. So he is going to be a horror. Also with triple overdrive and in trust, he's going to be really fun with the rest of the party. So that's it for this episode. Next time on Final Fantasy X HD, we are going to... I think I said we're going to get the Riku's ultimate weapon. So yay, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye everybody. Bye bye.